And it's a good morning, world. And as Zimbabwe 11 take on South Africa A in the final match of the 5-match T20 series happening at Harare Sports Club. And, so far, after 1-2 overs, South Africa have moved on to 12 without loss. Just to give you some team news, Zimbabwe have made one change. Richmond Mutumbami is out and coming in is Nyamayavo as a wicketkeeper batter, but Richard Cover, the national team keeper, keeping wicket. So Nyamayavo coming in specifically as a bowler. And joining me is Darlington Matambanadzo.
Good morning, Larry. Good afternoon, Larry. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good.
Wonderful day for cricket again. Nice and sunny. Relatively warm. And just as we talk about that, the South African team for today: Reza Hendricks and Vian Luba, Ryan Rickleton at 3, Jason Smith 4, Heinrich Klaassen, the captain, at 5, Nasibu Ngwe at 6. It's been changed in the batting open throughout the series. Bjorn Fortuin 7, Gerald Coetzee at 8, Quentin Stoeman, Junior Dalla, and Darren de Pavillon.
Pretty strong side that's put up by South Africa. I think the Lizard Williams, who has played, including the one-day matches, has played all but 2, including this one. Deserved rest, isn't it?
That's about right. And the thing is, if you've got quality and depth in the way that the South African bowling has displayed, you can actually rotate to your players without really losing too much in terms of the quality of player on the ground. And that's a good little single from Viluba. As soon as he hit it to Sikandar Raza, the one was on there. And ends the second, and South Africa are 14 for none.
So Wesley Madevere took the first over and he's come back for a second over. It was quite costly in the first one, conceding 10 runs. Would you have given him a second one?
Yeah, you mentioned the other day about Sikandar Raza being an instinctive captain. And I think he's probably just thought to himself, because we saw the one that might have been a catch. It was a difficult chance, but it was in the air and was close enough to the fielder, and that's a really good shot from Reza Hendricks. A little short from Wesley Madevere, but you've still got to put it away, and he's done that in style. Really got into good position to get it away square on the offside.
It's one of those that just looks beautiful. The moment he makes contact with it, goes like a tracer bullet to the boundary. And speaking of that attempted, which of course has caused what seems to be a casualty for Zimbabwe's bowling department.
It looks Tanaka Chivanga was holding his right hand. This is, the catch burst through that right hand, and we just need to get a little bit more information for you about what that injury might be. I think we've also seen Wesley's going to continue. We've seen Vian Luba is very keen to advance down the wicket at him. And I think probably Captain Sikandar Raza's reasoning is that ball's turning away. Might get another chance through the air. And that's quite a good shot from Vian Luba. It's on the line of the stumps, and he's done well to get behind square on the offside for a boundary. Over is now really expensive. 9 from it. Still 2 deliveries to go. And then the other thing that might have forced Raza to have to bowl a little bit longer was the injury to Tanaka, who normally is the one who bowls the third over of the game. We've seen so far in the T20s. And the other seamer who's available is Ernest Mayawa, a little inexperienced. Sorry, Ernest Masuku, who's a little inexperienced. And that's a beautiful shot from Vian Luba. My word, what a shot. It's gone all the way. And what he's done, he's been running down the track, going a little leg side ball to get over the offside. He's made wonderful contact that time. The third over, and South Africa are at 32 for none. So now we see Ernest Masuku brought into the attack from the city end. He replaces Tendai Chatara, who does the 1-0. Saying he's a little inexperienced. So he's just going to get 1 over in this foul play.
Certainly a player who we've seen grow in this particular season. We're going to talk about Zimbabwean players who have shown growth. Him and Tanaka Chivanga seen grow into strike bowlers, if nothing else.
The other, for me, the absolute revelation was Milton Shumba. We saw him bowl in a couple of test matches and internationals, one-day internationals, without much success. This was the first time we actually saw him put on a match-winning bowling performance. Been successful with a bat throughout the last 18 months. That was really the first time, I think, the breakthrough bowling performance in international cricket for Milton Shumba happened a couple of days ago. And he's got his first wicket as well as Masu. Right, Vian Luba's going across the line, looking for that area in the open mid-wicket region. South Africa lose their first wicket at 33 for 1.
New batter to come in is Ryan Rickleton. Ryan Rickleton, who has very well in this series. And Jordan Reza Hendricks, after the departure of
Vian Luba,
bowled by Ernest Masugu.
He's gone past the outside edge and a really excited appeal for a caught behind.
Sound there might have been the bat hitting the ground. Of course, if you're near the Harare Sports Club area where this match is taking place, please make your way through. Just make sure you carry your vaccination card. Come and watch some great cricket. Having a really great series. It's called a wide by No Chabi.
At least the Zimbabweans should be happy they have that all-important first wicket in the power play. And as Masuku again gets past the outside edge. It's the second this over we've seen that.
Just rolling again into that corridor of uncertainty where you're not sure whether to leave it or hit it. The question is, if you're South Africa at the moment, if you're one of the batters, do you say, I'm going to have a go here, get him out of his rhythm? Or do I say, look, let me just see out the next couple of overs?
The problem is that whatever target score you've got in the back of your mind, you've got to then change it a little bit. And understand that if you don't get the sort of 8 or 10 runs that you require to get to a decent score in this format of cricket, off this Masuku over, you've got to make it up somewhere else. And as long as you sort of have the confidence in your own ability to do that later on in the match, then seeing him off could work. And that's a wide.
You can sort of see what he's trying to do there, just getting into that channel over and over again, but I think overcooking it just to a certain extent also lend to a possibility of there being some sort of predict.
I think he's getting quite a bit of swing out there, away from the left-handers in particular. Saw the first still in the serve bowled to Reza Hendricks. Got him onto the pad. So there is a little bit of shape, and that shot suggests the same thing as he finds the outside edge. Rickson got there nowhere near the middle of the bat. So at the end of the fourth over, South Africa are 39 for 1.
So in the continued, at least for the moment, absence of Tanaka Chivanga, Tendai Tara takes the ball on the golf course end. An interesting change because we've seen Tendai Chatara bowl most of his overs, the one-day series as well as the T20 series from the city end. So, and there's a slight hill, if you call it that, escarpment maybe.
I found that there's a little rise when you bowl from this end. It feels a little more downhill when you're bowling from the city end. And that is a false shot from Reza Hendricks. I think the other thing that's going to be very interesting is we've seen that the bowling has largely been shared by Chiwanga's bowled usually his full set of 4, Chatara his usual full set of 4, and we've seen Ernest Masuku, forgive me, bowl his full set of 4. And if Tanaka Chiwanga not going to get back onto the ground today, it's good to see he bowls that 4 overs that he typically would bowl. You know that Ryan Burl bowls some leg spin, but he's been suffering from a finger injury, so we've not seen him bowl at all throughout the series. He's played all of the T20 matches. We've not seen him bowl those. And then we've seen Wesley Madewere is already usually bowls just in the match. Milton Shumba, Captain Skanda Raza. Basically, that's going to make up the Zimbabwe 11's bowling attack today. That's a good line from Tendai Chatara.
Now what he's done there is just given very little space for Ryan Rickleton to open up his body, because you can see he's thinking of sending it over to the cover area, which is pretty vacant.
It's not quite got that in the middle of the bat. It's got enough. The gas bounced on the right. Should be called 6. That is quite a good shot. Didn't quite get it in the middle of the bat.
Yeah, you just the moment he got it over Ryan Burl standing at cover, vacant area.
And there's that pull shot, just the one from it. So at the end of the 5th over, the South African A side are 47 for 1. Change in the commentary box for the next few minutes. Replacing Larry and I is Tinashe Chimbambo and Tino Maoyo. Good afternoon, Tino. Good afternoon, Tinashe.
Afternoon, Darlington. It's been a jam-packed over, 47 for 1, South Africa after 5. Have done so consistently in this series, Tino, reaching that 50 mark in the first power play, South Africa.
The batting, in particular, that top order has been very impressive. They've gone about their business in a very professional manner. Haven't been afraid to express themselves. And even if you go back to the one-day competition, the wickets were a little bit fresh then. But still played commanding strokes like that one.
It's a lovely, and didn't try and hit it too hard, understanding that there's only a cover line to bridge, and does so in a classical manner. Still waiting for the umpire to give us a signal. There's that 4. That good. It is 4. A couple of inches from that 6 runs mark. And Ernest Masuku just providing a little bit too much width on that particular delivery,
And Rickleton strong through the offside. So you want to stay away from. He scores quite freely through that area. Not afraid to go up and over like that. So for Masuku taking the ball away from the left-hander, his margin of error is very, very small. full cover ring. Rickleton not able to find the gap there. Backward of square on the offside. Better length from Masuku. Overpitched the last one. Up and over the covers he was taken. This time just adjusting that length. It's a good comeback.
Lovely shot. Again, Masuku. Full wide. Provides enough width. And Rigoton says, thank you. Blasted through the covers for another boundary.
Masuku's got to learn, and he's got to learn fast. And that's not an area where you want to hide scoring opportunities for Rickleton.
A change of ideas here from Masuku. He decides to come from around the wicket and hope that he can just tuck him in and close that width that he's been providing. And he does so. Straight towards Midland leg.
Good ploy. He's trying to negate that with, as you say, outside the off stump. But I'm still concerned about the length that he's bowling. Rickleton, we've already deciphered, not afraid to go up and over. And on a surface that's this good, from the shots that we've seen today, he's got to make sure he's shorter than he is.
A little bit of a change of pace there. Just rolling his fingers around that particular delivery. Straightish enough for Rickleton to just push it to the vacant area. The left of mid on. Picks up a one. He's been very good. Whereas Rickleton obviously doesn't have the amount of milestones as you would have loved with the form that is in. And lots of runs in the domestic SA competition. End of the over. Yeah, Masuku going for 11 in that part over. 56 for 1 after 6 overs. 74 for 1 after 7. South Africa comfortably at 10 plus runs and over. The captain, Sikandar Raza, comes into the attack. In the city end, Reza Hendricks and Ryan Rickerton, 41 partnership, moving along quite nicely.
There's one thing I can tell you, this is a good surface. You can see that run rate up at nearly 10s. And this is really not trying to get after the bowling, it's just playing really good cricket shots. When the opportunity arises. Rickleton was 14 balls for his 25, 4 boundaries and 1 6. Wonderful strike rate, 178. I've become accustomed to these kind of starts from South Africa A.
They've been very consistent, you know. Ryan Rickerton, Reza Hendricks, Nesibango Epe when he's playing. Rube. All those guys have chipped in at very good strike rates as well in the power play. Up and over, chance for Chatara. It's going to be a spectator. What a shot. Over mid-off, long off rather. Sikandar Raza just providing a little bit of flight, and Reza Hendricks is on it in a flash. Heaves it over for another boundary.
He's done well here because Sikandar Raza, with a bit of extra air, has held it back. And normally, the batter will try and go across the line because the ball hasn't got there yet. But he's waited and forced it straight. And that's why he's hit it so well.
More runs here. And this is very clever betting from Reza Hendricks. The captain, Sikandar Raza, here just overcompensating, providing a little bit of width down leg side, and is pulled away nicely.
You mentioned overcompensating. It's because of the shot that was played the ball before. It wasn't all that full because he held it back. He's realized that if it's full, it's going to go over his head, and that's why he's dragged the last one down. Quicker delivery this time. Looking for 2 in the onside field. Miscommunication between Milton Shumba and Wesley Madevere allows them to come back for 2. And the 8th over, 88 for 1. Change in bowling. Shivanga, very expensive on his first, replaced by Milton Shumba, the man who had the golden arm for Zimbabwe 11 in that last game. Man of the match performance.
It starts well. A bit of a misfield there by the captain, Milton Shumba. Clearly annoyed by his captain. But he started well, and he bowled very well in that match. Tinoy was the hero of Zimbabwe, with both bat and ball actually came in and played a very handy innings in the middle order with Ryan Bell is going to have to repeat that, performing the ball today.
Bright prospect for Mshumba. What I've liked in a couple of the innings that he's played in the series, starting to make things count, starting to get the bigger scores, because his opportunities have been pretty limited in the senior national side. And when they have come, they haven't been on the back of other matches back to back. So it's very difficult to try and get some continuity, try and get some game time and confidence going. But the little that I've seen in the matches he's played in this series, if he can carry on with this trajectory, Zimbabwe can look forward to a lot more spirited performances from this man in Zimbabwe colours.
Lovely start from Newton Shumba here. She's gone for 2 in the first 5 balls. I like how he understands. You sort of get into the batter's mind. And halfway through the over, he was able to just switch things around a little bit, get his sweeper a little bit straighter, covering that extra cover region, knowing how Riza have been playing. Just a single to end the over. It's a good one for Zimbabwe. 91 for 1 after 9.
Repair work needed by the Zimbabwean bowlers now. 92. One delivery into the 10th over. Very healthy run rate. More important, the 1 wicket lost. Leg spinner from Sikandar Raza. But this is a few variations. Ones that he would like to work on and master and get better at, because he can be rather expensive. Doesn't quite land the ball in the right areas as often as you'd like to with those variations.
A little bit of cleverness there from Rickerton. He's trying to open up that offside, and Sikandar Raza is picking up with variations. He was spot on that delivery. He followed him with a flat, quicker one into the wicket. Rickerton just managing to punch it down to long on.
Not been a bad over so far from Sikandar Raza. One delivery, he'll want to close it off well. It's the leg spinner. It goes up and it goes over to Tarat long off. Talked about his variations and he would want to work on them because he can be expensive when he tries them. There's another example. It's a good finish to the over. Brings up the 100 for South Africa A. 100 for 1 in 10.
That's a beautiful slug sweep from Ryan Rickleton. A little bit of width offered by Milton Shumba, but really spectacular shot to put it away.
No, I've talked about this about the Zimbabwe side. It's not just in this Zimbabwe 11 level or Zimbabwe A level, but even at the senior level, they struggle with putting on one good performance after the next. After winning a match, it's almost as if the intensity drops, and they tend to not perform at the same rate. Reza Hendricks currently on 43 of 27 balls, and Ryan Rickleton on 37 of 22. Certainly coming in with a much more aggressive attitude with the bat at the moment than they did in the fourth match.
It's been a really positive display from the South Africans. And what I've liked most about it is that it's been very good cricket shots. A lot of slugs have been played out there. They've managed to get themselves in a very, very strong position. Should really be looking at a score quite a long way above 200, around the 230 or even 240 mark. A start like this, that's another really good shot from Ryan Rickleton. He's really had to wait for that delivery to get it far enough behind square to make sure that Ernest Masuku cannot keep it down to just the one run. Really expensive over so far, 10 from it.
And what they've been clever about at this moment is they took one over to have a look at what Milton Shumba's bowling was going to be like today, and then next over just played according to that sort of instruction.
So that's 11 from Milton Shumba's second over. South Africa are 112 for 1. slight problem with our camera and TV equipment here. Now we're back, and we should be here for the rest of this T20 match. See that Milton Shumba has been changed ends, and he's pulling from the city end. On strike is Jason Smith. Just had a partnership broken by Ernest Masuku, who's taken the second wicket to 4, having taken the first earlier today. But South Africa are in complete control. 25 for 2 after 13. And really on track to get a really big score. 230, 240, 250 today. And it's another wicket, it looks like. And Ryan Burl has just put it down. Jason Smith had pulled it right into Ryan Burl's hands. And he's just put it down. Absolute disaster for the Zimbabweans.
Tell you what, that's a bad by any measure of assessment of that dropped catch. Ryan Burl is normally very reliable. Dropped that catch.
That brings up Reza Hendricks' 50 of just 35 deliveries, 3 boundaries and 3 sixes, at a strike rate of 143. He's played really well, has Reza Hendricks.
Tell you what, the last 2 overs bowled by Chiranga and Masugu have revised that target from being a 240 odd. I think it's more likely around 200. It's about 6 overs left. Because even if they go at 10s, that's 190. If the score remains as it is. So I think the 240 might be a bit of a stretch.
That's really good running from Jason Smith. Turns that one into a 2 quite comfortably. And South Africa are 130 for 2.
Sikandar Raza, the captain, brings himself back into the attack. It's been rather expensive. I guess South Africa will be looking to target him. Especially he's gone for 24 in 2.1 overs. And looking at the context of the match, that's quite a lot.
By far the best bowler today in terms of economy is Milton Shumba. Just 20 from the 3 he's bowled. And that's a beautiful shot from Reza Hendricks. Short and wide. And he's deliberately gone over extra cover. Normally you'd see a batter hit that towards the point boundary. He's deliberately gone over extra cover as Wesley Madewere is fielding on the point boundary. And that probably would have been just 1 or maybe even 2.
And this is the thing about Sikandar Raza, because of his variations or attempts at them, he'll give you 1 or 2 in an over. He just doesn't get it right. And very capable batter like Reza Hendricks will take advantage of that, full advantage. So looking at South Africa A, this will be their slowest 5-over period, having amassed 36 runs so far. Their fastest was 53 runs. That was between the 5th and the 10th over. The first 10 overs was 47 runs. So from here, if they have another 60, I think they'll be very happy with that sort of score.
I don't know about that because we saw the Zimbabweans into that 225-ish. We'll continue this in the 16th over, but right now South Africa are 138 for 2.
Tanaka Chivanga comes in. It's very interesting that he hasn't bowled Milton Shumba for one more. I think I would have gone with one more at this point.
It's a good first ball from Tanaka Chivanga. He's taken the pace right off. Reason Hendricks just didn't get the pace and the bounce that he wanted to play that shot. Looking to go over extra cover of two men in the ring between cover and then at mid-off. And that shot has just caused Zimbabwean captain Skandar Raza to make a change in the field. He's brought his third man into the slot, and he himself is all the way to long off. Another good delivery from Tanaka Chivanga onto the pads.
I think because the number of runs South Africa made in the first 10 overs, it's the temptation to think that this is a better batting surface than it actually is. If you look at where they made a lot of their sixes and fours, it's been very ordinary and poor deliveries by Zimbabwe. And I don't think that South Africa A will bowl as many poor deliveries that they expect to be hit for fours and sixes. So perhaps this Zimbabwe 11 rather will be thinking a good 20-30 runs are their fault here. And of course, never mind the dropped catch by Ryan Burrell. Because as they've been tighter, as you can see when they've bowled a lot tighter, the runs have not been as easy to come.
The other thing I've seen, I think Tanaka Chivanga is showing us here, as soon as he's taken the pace off, he's not bowling as he can here, and that looks like it's been deliberate. And we see that it's a little bit harder to get the ball right when there's no pace on it. That's a good change of pace, and if misfield helps, it's Milton Shumba extra cover. It's just the one. Skandar Raza does the backing up.
And before Freeman, our statistician and director, has a go at me, it's given me an opportunity to talk about the Zimbabwe Cricket app, which you can download for free off the Google Play Store and the iStore. It's giving me the side eye.
And that's probably gone all the way to the boundary for 6. It's the first bad ball that Chivanga's bowled in this over. And Reza Hendricks is on it in a flash. Still the one delivery to bowl. Eight runs from this over.
Yeah, again, one of those, which if you look at this in the context of this over, if he keeps his tight line and length, takes the pace, keeps the pace off, it's a much more decent over than it is. But again, poor ball releases the pressure on South Africa A. Zimbabwe Cricket app gives you updates on what's happening in Zimbabwe Cricket. Get access to scorecards, ball by ball commentary. The domestic tournament that's taking place, the National Premier League, Sundays and Wednesdays. You can keep up to date with whatever team you're following. Of course, in the international matches as they happen, getting updates from there.
Should just be 2 as Ryan Bill does the fielding on the boundary. Reza Hendricks is quickly back. So that's 10th over, and South Africa A just too short of 150 after 16.
Tendai Chatara to bowl his third over. It's just gone for 11. Best economy rate in this match so far for Zimbabwe, 11.
See again a change of pace from Chatara. Slow with the hand. Jason Smith struggled a little bit. Just 7 from 13 deliveries.
Also lucky to not be back in the dugout after a dropped catch by Ryan Bell. Dolly. Last 2 runs, South Africa went past the 150 mark, 151 for 2 after 16.3 overs. Zimbabwe were looking at a vicious score a little bit earlier. They'd be quite happy with how they've brought it back.
They've got their thinking right. Again, we see slower through the air, Tendai Chatara. And earlier on we saw him bowl an sour ball out the back of his hand. And that one was with what looks like an off-spin action. I think, and then we saw the same from Tanaka Chiwanga from the city end. But I think he bowled just the 2 deliveries at full pace, and then 4 of them were slower balls. That's an attempted slower ball bouncer from Chatara. It's gone totally wrong. But again, I think the thinking is much, much better.
Again, a slow ball once again, which means you have to manufacture the power in order to get that away. Very clever, very experienced bowler is Tendai Chatara, just 1 away from joining Graham Creamer at international level for the most number of T20 wickets. He's on 34. Graham Creamer is on 35.
And that's a beautiful shot from Reza Hendricks. You were just talking about having to manufacture your own pace. What Reza Hendricks has done, how he's done that, is run down the track at Tendai Chatara Hit him a long way over straight wicket. Partnership now 37, and South Africa A are 160 for 2. Bowling change from the city end. Ernest Masuku. 2 wickets to have fallen today. Both have fallen to Ernest Masuku, who's 19 from 3.3 overs, 3.1 overs. An economy, a really good economy of 6.3.
South Africa currently going at 9.38. The projected score is 188. I'm probably getting more like 195. In this particular section, he heaves that over.
That's a really beautiful shot from Reza Hendricks. And all he's had to do there is wait for Masuku to miss his length. And he's gladly obliged. And he's hit him a long way over long on. He now moves to 79 of just 46 deliveries. This could be a really big over. 7 from the first 2 deliveries that Ernest Masuku has bowled. You get the impression with Reza Hendricks on strike, if he doesn't get it absolutely right, he could be really punished. That's a good one. Again, it's the pace off. It's taken the pace off. 6 was hit off a full pace delivery. That's a slower one. Joining me in commentary box is Tinashe Chimbambo, and immediately there's a wide down leg from Ernest Masuku, but you can see his plan. He's trying to get it full and into the block hole at the stumps. He's got a little bit wrong, but that's actually quite a good plan.
Absolutely, Darlington. 3 men covering that leg side boundary. A deep square leg, very squarish cow corner, and a conventional long on. So if he is able to actually get it full and straight enough, only a couple of options for Reza. Like that. And that is well bowled, and just rolls his fingers on that one as well. Takes the pace away. Has worked for him today is Ernest Masuku, the change of pace.
Just 2 balls left to this over, 9 from it. The circumstances. Just one criticism would be that length ball he got hit for 6, but apart from that, Masuku has looked good. And that's a beautiful shot from Jason Smith. And Tino Mtombodzi does well to keep it down to just 2.
The partnership between these two, up to 48 runs Jason Smith just contributing 12 of those. Reza Hendricks have been in blistering form, striking at 166. One ball to go.
And that's into the hole. That's a really good shot from Jason Smith. And it's all the way to the boundary. So 15 from Masuku's final over. And South Africa moved to 175 for 2. And a partnership of 52 between Jason Smith and Reza Hendricks. And that's an incredible shot again from Reza Hendricks. Again, what he's done there, he's realized that Chatara's not going to give him the pace. So he's run down the track at him. And this time with a bit of width on the delivery, he's gone a long way over extra cover. He moves to 86 from just 49 deliveries. And a really good start to the 19th over. 6 from the first ball.
Well, absolutely good shot, Darlington. The anticipation is what makes that shot stand. That Chatara has been good with this change of pace, and for him to negate that, he had to try and create some of that pace, and he did. He willowed it over extra cover, a region that has been generally very productive for him throughout this series.
Just a little delay as the umpires have to check a ball every time it leaves the ground. And that's a good change of pace again from Chatara. This time, Reza Hendricks has stayed in the crease. Looking to go over wideish long on. A little quicker and fuller from Chatara. And that's a bad delivery from Tendai Chatara. High leg side, full toss. Jason Smith finally gets his strike rate above 100. Moves to 22 of 19.
That's a real gift. It is a real gift. West high foot toss on leg stump. Darlington is begging to be hit. And Jason Smith has struggled for runs in this particular series. And finally gets a couple of gifts here to try and get, as you say, Darlington, his strike rate up above 100. And he has done so. 22 of 19. Still 9 balls remaining in this inning. And it's a real chance for Reza Hendricks to push on. Probably get to 3 figures.
Should be just enough. And as long as Jason Smith manages to continue to rotate the strike, Reza Hendricks should have no difficulty getting 13 from the 9 balls that just remain. He was to have nearly half of those, which is 4 or 5 deliveries. I doubt he'd probably find 3 back. Just the single from Chatara's 4th delivery. Reza Hendricks gets to face 2 balls left in this over. Partnership now is 66. Being dominated by Hendricks, who's Jason Smith has just got 23 of those 66. And then he's managed to get that a long way behind square, and that's the boundary. Takes his score to 91, and partnership is now 70, just 7 short of tie out, with 1 delivery left in this over.
That is a shot of real class. Darlington opens his face in contact and is managing to beat this fielder. Wesley Madevere is quick, but not quick enough. And to add salt to injury, it is actually a no ball and it will be a free hit. High up in the air, it won't count. Just the one. You will be disappointed. You'll be disappointed, Lisa Hendricks. He thought he would have got more from that free at Darlington.
It's a good, it was a slower ball bouncer from Tendai Chatara. He just didn't have the pace he wanted or needed to go over third man, which is where I think he was aiming that shot. Just stayed in the wicket, didn't allow him to get it away to the boundary. That's the end of a very expensive 19th over. 13 from it, and South Africa are 195 for 2. So Tanaka Chivanga it is who's going to bowl the last over. And we saw him, he tends to come around the wicket and look to bowl quite a long way outside off stump. Reza Hendricks is batter on strike. And he requires 8 to get to his 100. Probably just the one from that one, unless Rita Ernest Masuku does well to keep it down to just a single.
The same sort of ideas from Chivanga here, from around the wicket, was going to try and bother that wide line with foolish deliveries. Makes it difficult to score at any other part of the ground. It's forcing the batters to try and go through the offside. Right there, and it's edged over Chatara. It's going to be 4 more runs. Nah, he's not bemused. He's a very angry is Tanaka. The boundary, it was the ball that was looking for Darlington. He still goes for 4.
South Africans going anywhere they come. Partnership is 77 and brings up to 200 of 19.2 deliveries. Been a really good stop from Tanaka Chivanga. I can't say he actually stopped it. I think that's just hit him on the ankle. But it's useful in that it's just one run. And you've got the slightly lesser striker of the ball at the moment. Jason Smith brought back on strike. That's the 100. It looks like got solid contact and gone over extra cover. Beautiful knock from Reza Hendricks. 8 sixes and 5 boundaries, and he moves to 101 from 55. And at the end of the innings, South Africa are 212 for 2. So the Zimbabwe 11 will require 213 to win. And we'll see you in about 15 minutes with the rest of this 5th T20 International.
Good afternoon. If you're only joining us now, Zimbabwe's reply to South Africa A's very exciting innings of 212 for 2, if not helped by some very ordinary bowling by the majority of the Zimbabwe 11 batters. They have to go at tens already, putting in a lot of pressure on Zimbabwe. It was highest score in 202. And Bjorn Fortuin, as he's done for most of this series, if not all the matches, is going to open the bowling for South Africa A. And opening the batting for Zimbabwe is Regis Chakava and Wesley Madevere. Regis Chakava facing only one ball, which resulted in his exiting without scoring. Survives a first ball duck. Tickles it around and picks up his first runs of this particular series. It's only his second match. So when I talk about his first runs of the innings, it's not to be particularly facetious, just mention that he's finally off the mark. Wesley Madevere would look good in the previous match. Now to face Bjorn Fortuin. Gives it a slight slap, but a slap to nowhere. And just punches it down to long on. Does Wesley Madevere.
Nice quiet start from the Zimbabweans today. I've been of the opinion, personally, that they've gone a little too hard sometimes. Particularly Wesley Madevere. Look good in patches with the bat. Sometimes just plays too many. Finds himself in trouble. So at the end of the first over, just a 4 from it. So it's just a 2 from it, and Zimbabweans are 3 for none.
Time to see Darren De Pavlon and Regis Chakava. Just punches that. Third man is not able to get to that. It's just between Kali and third man. Straight to the crowd that is in the corner there, who have been faithfully coming to watch Zimbabwe play cricket. Zimbabwe 11, that is.
Beautiful shot from Regis Chakava. Really nice touch he looks in. And the attempted pull shot.
I don't mind that from Regis Chakava. You can see the way he's hitting it. He's trying to keep it down. Whereas Zimbabwe, the other Zimbabwe batters have seemed to struggle with keeping the ball down, therefore resulting in them getting caught trying to play the pull shot. So you can see the intent with him. Probably just got to fix the timing and make sure that he takes that ball, because once he gets that to mid-wicket, it's pretty vacant in that area.
That's quite a good little chip shot. Just wide of deep square leg. Just a 2 from it. A nice start from Regis Chakava. Been out of the game for a while. Already has 8 from just 6 deliveries.
What we need the Zimbabweans right now is to not lose any wickets. What's been happening is they've lost their openers pretty quickly, putting a lot of pressure on the likes of Craig Irvin and Sikandar Raza to face the new ball a lot earlier than they'd like to. Trying a cheeky shot there. Misses it completely, trying to paddle it. Probably scoop it.
That's a nice idea, I think. It's just about not letting Dupavilon settle into just bowling line and length at you. Just man is in it to short fine leg. Get any bat on that, it should be 4 runs.
I know there was an attempted sort of scoop shot in the ball before. Where are you on the naming of it? A lot of people call it dill scoop, but you'd have known a guy called Douglas Morelia.
So listen, I ever saw playing international cricket, so you know what I mean. But I think dill scoop is easier on the
Tongue?
I can't think of a way to call it. The Doug scoop or the Morelia scoop, or it's just easier as a dill scoop.
I'll take his credit. History does acknowledge that Douglas Morelia was the first one to play it and perfect it. But after 2 overs, so that Zimbabwe 11 are 10 without loss. Bjorn Fontaine continues.
And that's the reverse sweep from Regis Chakava. Didn't quite get a hold of it. And quick single. No interest from the South Africans or the umpire.
A lot of vocal supporters just down from us here. The watering hole that is the Centurion. Edging on the umpire not to make a decision. Very experienced umpire in Langton Rusere. Langton Rusere says, no, you don't need to assist me with the umpiring. I'm pretty sure that wasn't doing anything and your batter is safe.
Interesting. We've seen a couple of attempted improvisations from Regis Chakava. He's just not been playing cricket a much recent past. They've just not quite come off, and that's just a sign of that when the touch isn't quite right. Typically, shots like that, you're in really good form and have been playing quite a lot, always seem to come off.
I wonder if the conversation between the Zimbabweans has been the fact that they've been finding it difficult to get Bjorn Fontaine away, so therefore, instead of trying to get on top of him.
That's a big hit from Wesley Madivere. He's come down the track to Bjorn Fontaine and shaped it a long way past on.
Yeah, it's just a juicy shot there. Certainly hit it with a lot of expectation of where the ball would get pitched, and was pretty clear about his intent. Dance down the pitch quite early. That 6 results in Zimbabwe 11 moving to 90 loss. Pion Fontaine's been expensive in this over. Conceded 9 already, with 2 balls still in the over. Does a bit of gardening with his foot. Not sure if he thinks. I haven't seen many spin bowlers do quite a bit of gardening.
And then the sweep shot. And this time it's also for 6. Back to back maximum Pion Fontaine from Wesley Maduere. These have been 2 really high quality cricket shots. Used his feet, got to the pitch and went over long on. This time stayed low, got inside the line of the delivery and hit it over square leg.
Yeah, really great batting there. Really expensive over by any stretch of the imagination. 15 off it so far. After a very quiet start, Zimbabwe 11, beg your pardon, have decided to get going. Very clever from Madevere. Runs out and the South Africans are excited, but umpire Langton Rusera once again saying no. Young man got back in on time. 15 over that off that over, and so Zimbabwe 11 are 25 for without loss after 3 overs. Time to have a look at Glenton Sturman. And he has success first delivery. Regis Chakava trying another trick shot. Manages to only edge it to Ryan Rickleton with the gloves, and Zimbabwe 11 lose their first wicket. Regis Chakava goes for 12. And Zimbabwe 11 are 25 for 1 after 3.1 overs. Just as we're saying, Zimbabwe 11, I beg your pardon, needed to avoid losing an early wicket. That happens to them. In comes Craig Irvin, who serves as the national team captain, but is just coming in as a batter in this particular series. Sikandar Raza taking that mantle, having done so during the one-day format as well as this T20 series.
He's been good. He's been inventive. He's creative. Sikandar Raza. He's also had some few flashes of brilliance with the bat. And with the ball. Irvin, however, hasn't quite found his stride in this T20 competition. He's had a couple of starts, just not being able to go on.
Looking back at how Reggie Shakava's gone out, I'm thinking this early in the innings, shouldn't be trying too many trick shots. I haven't really looked at the pitch. Yes, while the other side was bowling, you had the best seat in the house. But I just think trying that many trick shots within 2.1 overs, was it? 3.1 overs? Having faced only 11 deliveries, and you could see probably half of them is trying to, reverse sweep or scoop it or whatever the case may be. You haven't quite gotten your timing. It's great when it comes off, but at this stage of the match, shouldn't be doing that.
And Craig Irvin has been dismissed by Clinton Stuurman. Really well thought out, well planned out wicket. From round the wicket to him. And ball full and straight. Craig Irvin is dismissed without scoring. And Zimbabwe 11, 25 for 2. Nyasha Mayawo just got included in this match just for this one match. He's been in the squad throughout the series. And he's been given a chance. Coming in at number 4 for the Zimbabwe 11. Wicketkeeper batsman. He's done really well in the domestic competition. This is an opportunity for him. Lots of runs. That's usually the best place to make them.
Tell you what, scored his first half century this past season. Seen two fellow batters out. And he gets his first runs. And the crowd applauds him. Should, I suppose, if you're playing some form of international. This is his first international representative side that is being included in to start, obviously on the back of decent performances in the domestic, but after 4 overs, Zimbabwe 11 are 26 for 2.
Junior Dalla from the City End, first over of this match. And that's a good first delivery to Nyasha. An absolute brute of a delivery. And it's off the gloves. And to Bjorn Fortuin at Gully. Mayawo was dismissed for just 1. And Zimbabwe 11 now 26 for 3. Is
if you look at it, throughout the series, Zimbabwe's the national team top order batters have largely been used throughout the 50 over and T20 series. Coming in as coach, that is Lance Klusner. What do you do? What do you fix?
I think you just want to. I think the words that Tino Maoyo used the other day is just get batters to place a price on their wickets. I think a lot of the shots we've seen have just been loose shots, too adventurous too early, and I think that has usually been the problem. Too adventurous too early, and there's often, even in a 20 overs match, there's more time in the game. So there's just enough time for you to just maybe have a look at a few and play yourself in, as it were. And that's Tino Mtombodzi. No runs scored. And Zimbabwe 11 are in deep trouble now at 28 for 4. Well, Junior Dalla has 2 wickets from his first over. Yasha Mayawa with his first ball. And then Tino Mtombodzi, what is actually his second, having bowled 2 wides. Zimbabwe 11, really, really deep trouble. 29 for 4. Really need a partnership between Wesley Mateveri and his captain, Sikanda Raza. It's the 4th wide that Junior Dalla has bowled in this over. Almost every single time he's bowled a legitimate delivery, he seems to take a wicket with it. Joining me in commentary is Tinashe Chimbambo. Tina, very, very difficult position to win from.
In South Africa, it's going to be a very difficult job for the selectors, especially trying to filter through who they can go forward with in terms of the Namibia series coming up, and obviously the big ones, the qualifier. Ultimately, this has been a very good performance from the South Africans. Firstly with the bat this morning, Reza Hendricks, and now the bowlers are doing the job.
And like for me, there's a big difference. We saw that Jason Smith has been struggling for runs throughout the series, but he really toughed it out. He really worked hard to get some runs today. I mean, it finished over 100. And then, as a comparison, we see that Tino Mtombodzi Hasn't got runs throughout the series, and instead of really toughing it out, the first delivery that's bowled full at him, he's played a really too aggressive a shot at it. I think that's the difference between the two sides. The Zimbabwe 11 now are 30 for 4.
Where's Madevere? And the turmoil that's been happening on the other end is only first 8 balls in this innings. This moves on to 15. The 2 sixes in that. And a couple of very good shots. We know that he's a small man, but he packs a punch. He's going to need to do it here today in front of a very small crowd, but nonetheless very expectant. I like what you say about Jason Smith, and you spoke about even in the one day as how much he was looking like he was out of touch, and the couple of times that he's been able to bat, it has been maybe a little bit too late and deep in the innings that there's no time for him to sort of play off in. But today he got a chance, in the top 4, and you could see that he's a man that is short of confidence, but he wasn't short of ideas, which was the main difference. He knew how he wanted to go through that first part, and as he stayed there, I think he was on 10 runs, got him a little bit of confidence. And by the time that the innings ended, he was looking like a man who was actually looking to do positive things for the team and contribute. And I think that's one thing that has lagged throughout this Zimbabwe 11 and South Africa A series. There's periods and moments in time where you think Zimbabwe might have gone a little bit too hard and a little bit too early.
Really disciplined set so far from Glenton Storman. Really clear plan. Looks like he's looking to bowl at the stumps today. We've seen the one wide down leg. That's often a symptom of guys bowling at the stumps. Sometimes you go outside leg stump. He has already got the 1 wicket. He's got 2 wickets, does Glenton Storman. 1 wicket I was talking about was that of Craig Irvin. Again, it was just bowling at the stumps. Looked like one might have stayed a little bit low to Craig Irvin. Let's see if we can play back to it. So at the end of the 6th over, Zimbabwe 11 are 36 for 4. Zimbabwe's woes continue. 36 for 5. Junior Dalla is on 3 for 4. And Zimbabwe 11 are 36 for 5.
Newton Shumba, the hero of the previous match, the only match that Zimbabwe really fought and won. 36 for 5 after 6.1, 13.5 overs still remaining in this innings. You sense there is another opportunity for him to fight it out and do well for himself. Nicely tucked away down leg side. Nice work by Jason Smith. They passed down the line, didn't really work out, but still done the work. Gets off the mark is Newton Shumba. I'm thinking about the selectors who have to retain some of the players in this squad. I'm trying to think where else can they look in terms of trying to solve the betting wars that Zimbabwe have experienced so far in this series, and in part as well in Nepal, when the Zimbabwe A was in against that Nepalese side, who have been growing with every match that they've played.
So yeah, it's a question of opening batters, isn't it? We saw a few who've been tried out, haven't really succeeded.
AOBW seemed to have a little bit of bet there to save Newton Shumba, because that looked pretty adjacent. Maybe striking out of the line, outside the line of off stump. As Junior Dalla has bowled very well throughout this T20 series. As soon as he got a chance to get on the field, he's been brilliant. And today he's been exceptional. 3 wickets for just 8 runs at the end of his second over here.
I think the thing that looks to have troubled most Zimbabwean batters is a couple of things. He's rather short as a fast bowler, so he skids onto you, and when he does bowl full, he seems to get quite a lot of speed through the air. At the end of the 7th, Zimbabwe 11 are 40 for 5. We've just seen a really, I can't understand the shot that Skandaraza is trying to play. Really a shot that he's known for playing well. Especially not when he's just arrived at the crease.
It comes back to what we were speaking about earlier, Darlington, the way that the Zimbabweans haven't been patient enough for bowlers to come into their areas. We saw earlier on Reza Hendricks, who actually ended up on 100 of 55 deliveries. He was actually on 10 of 13 deliveries earlier on. Like, he was just waiting for the bowlers to air into his strong areas. And when they actually got into those strong areas, he was decisive. And he made sure that he put away most of the stuff that he was given was there to be hit. That's something that the Zimbabwean changing room need to take a leaf out of. And there's Irvin Shumba, very lucky that didn't time that very well. Again, not known for both these two batters. But once they're in, you are on your 40s, in your 50s, and you've been hitting the ball well. You can start trying to play some of those shots that you are not really strong at. Like, you need to get your eye in first, and that's been the downfall of many Zimbabwean batter. The way that they've gone pretty hard and tried things a lot earlier than they would have.
Really attractive shot there from Skandaraza. Interesting thing is that that's roughly the length he's trying to play the pull shot off. You can play back foot off the back foot like that. It's not always necessary then to be looking to play those big crossbat shots.
Put away, catch. 6 more. There was a chance there for Jason Smith. Just seemed to take off very late. And Skandaraza, we've been speaking about his woes against the short ball, and he's gone on to hit one out of the screws. 6 more. Zimbabwe after 8 overs, 48 for 5. Nice shot by Milton Shumba. Just chipped it over mid-wicket, really. 2 more runs. And that brings up the 50 for Zimbabwe after 8.1 overs. 5 wickets in that.
That run rate required is now 13.8. Lots of work for Raza and Shumba to do. So Raza in the third one day, the T20, played an absolute blinder, got 88 or 43 deliveries. It's going to require something like that from one or both of these batters today if the Zimbabwe 11 have any chance at all of winning. There's a really emphatic pull shot from Sikandaraza. It's almost as if he's telling me he's heard me criticize his choice of that shot. He's absolutely nailed it straight at a fielder. He's really hit in the middle.
Oh, credit to him. Darlington, we've known Sikanda to be a little bit scared of the short ball, if we have to be really honest, and he has been, known to be a guy who gets it on the short ball, and he's gone on and worked on that. And I was here earlier on in the morning. I was a little bit very early, and I saw him working on the short ball. He had guys throwing at him, and he was trying to hit as big as he could. He was working on the short ball, and which is something that is very encouraging for someone who has had his trouble against the short ball. And I'm thinking someone like Mutumbami, who has had his trouble, especially in this one day and T20 series. He struggled with the short ball, but I don't think he takes time to go out there and actually work on those soft skills and how to deal with that particular delivery. Yes, Sikandar Raza plays one too many short balls sometimes, and in a very difficult manner. But he's trying to face his troubles head on. After 9 overs, Zimbabwe 53 for 5. The Pavilion comes back for his third. Ooh. That got big, got Milton Shumba. I was looking to go over the top. Seemed to get rushed a little bit as well, Darlington.
It's a difficult shot when a bowler's coming around the wicket. It always ends up a lot squarer on the leg side than you're aiming at. It's usually a little bit safer to go into that part of the ground anyway. Especially when a guy's around the wicket. Going straight down the ground can be very difficult. Unless, of course, it's really full. Hitting a length ball straight can be quite difficult. The partnership is 17. Seen a couple of really good partnerships from these two batters throughout this series. And Shumba got a couple of 40s in the 50 overs to competition. And this is only his second match of these T20s. It's the first 3 with injury.
So I'm looking at the selectors' options here, Darlington, if and when they want to try and juggle around and maybe add a couple of members to the gutsy one, that first win against South Africa. It took a lot of time to get to his 50. But everywhere else, I'm struggling to find options. Tadiwa Nashe Marumani comes to mind as well if we are looking at those openings. Innocent Kaya, who's done very well in the domestic season that just went past us. A couple of whispers have been urging me to speak about Matthew Welsh. And those are some of the options that the selectors might have in that middle order, in the all-rounders. Obviously, Wellington Masakadza being injured opens up space for other all-rounders who can bowl and bat as well. That's Tony Munyonga maybe can be involved as well. But it's a very difficult job for the selectors at the moment. It's the guys that they have actually gone with and given chances and given opportunities in the run of games. Tino Mtombodzi, Mutumbami, a couple of other guys in the top order, Craig Irvin rather, don't seem to be kicking on the way that the selectors would have wanted.
Darren de Pavillon, 13 from his bowling so far. Something really relaxed and unpressured and unhurried about the way Milton Shumba has been batting so far. Does not look as if he's facing a required run rate of 16. And that is a beauty from de Pavillon. Slower ball, angling in towards the stumps. Bounces over the top of middle stump. And Skanda Raza totally deceived.
He was bamboozled at Darlington. Very unlucky for the Pavilion that missed the stumps by very little. You speak about Milton Shumba. I think he's done this throughout this series against South Africa. He's taken his time early on. And you can't blame him in this situation. It's 57 for 5, Darlington, with 10 overs to go. And again, Sikandar Raza seems to be losing his balance when he wants to go aerial. He's looking for...
Really lashed out at that one, did Raza. Really play what I'd consider a cricket shot. Essentially threw his bat at it. It was full and it was leg side and probably should have gone. Just want to see it really controlled and well directed cricket shot. Quick single to finish the 11th. Run required 17 and Zimbabwe 11 are 59 for 5. Wide down leg side.
defense by Coetzee. That's making sure that there is very little width for any of these batters to work with. Been very straight, and it's not a bad idea actually seeing a couple of deliveries that have crept through. Speaking about Craig Irvin and Tino Mutombodzi, even Wesley Madewere, right at the stumps. That's where they got dismissed. Wesley Madewere seemed to just signal that that might have just skated through and didn't really bounce as much as was expecting it to. It's not a bad idea really to go full and straight.
I think the key is to try and find a length, an in-between length. The batter's not entirely commit onto the front foot. And that way, if it does stay down a little bit, you find a batter can't cover that length. And then looks like a dismissal. Short ball. Shumba's got caught half and half. To play the pull shot or not. It's gone straight up and it's fallen between keeper and bowler.
A big shout. Looked like all bet there for Milton Shumba, and the guys decided that the bat and ball issue is truly over. Let's try and hug each other and tussle up. Edge, it's going to be fine. And 4 more runs. Streaky runs, nonetheless. Zimbabwe will be very happy. Bound to finally, after 12 overs, rather 67. The required run rate slowly catching up to 19 runs. Milton Shumba, 14 of 22 deliveries. Sikandar Razan, 17 of 21 deliveries. Goes down the ground. Can only get one. Jason Smith does the rest. This is a pretty difficult situation for Zimbabwe. And the way that these two have gone about their business. What would you have done if you were in this situation?
I think by the time it's sort of gotten around to 15 runs and over required, with just 5 wickets in hand, it starts to become impossible to basically win from there. I just think we've just seen a couple of guys batting for themselves. A little bit of improv from Milton Shumba. Plays a reverse sweep over short third man. Gets it to the boundary. It's now 73 for 5. 20 runs and over. It's almost impossible to get.
Want to end the over after 13 overs. Zimbabwe 74 for 5.